Hello and good afternoon. Welcome and thank you for joining me for the Science TV Crunch News. You are with me, Elvis Odhiambo, with my sign language interpreter, Tobias Omondi. On to our first item. The Institute of Social Accountability, Tisa, in partnership with Wealth Hunger Life, WHH, and Sanka, has launched a gender analysis report in Kiambu County calling for urgent action to make agri-food systems more inclusive. The report highlights that while gender-responsive policies already exist, the county government of Kiambu is being urged to fully implement them and to establish clear strategies for gender equity and inclusion. Tisa wants that despite being key players in the food system, women, men, youth, and persons with disabilities still face barriers such as patriarchy, inheritance laws, and exclusion from the decision-making processes. This, the report says, leaves many, especially women, reduced to price taking.
What really stands out is how women are excluded in leadership from the community level, farm organizations, and even the political leadership. So we really need to come up with a strategy as stakeholders, including the government, non-government actors, private sector, to ensure that we really bring women into leadership at the community level and at the political scene.
Of women, PWDs, and also other marginalized group. What civil society can do and WHH is doing is playing the role of facilitator of access. We know they are excluded because sometimes they need special assistance to participate in public participation forums. So as a CSO, because we are working together with the county, first of all, we make the county aware that there's a group that is not represented in such forums, and we facilitate their access. Another program that we implement as WHH, what we do is we work with the county to support even the participation of PWDs and other marginalized groups. So if there's, say, a transport token that is being given for the participants the government has invited, we step in as CSOs and support another 20, 30 for their movement to the public participation forum.
And the good thing about this report is that it gives us the synopsis of the state at the local level in terms of the areas that women dominate in terms of labor, but when it comes to income, they don't dominate. So we are trying also to change how can we ensure that women benefit equally across all the value chains of the agriculture. And because when women gain, the society gains.
Governance systems in Kiambu County. So the reason as to why we are so particular on the diverse groups of women and people with disability is that for a long time, these are people who have been marginalized on decision making regarding issues of food, issues of agriculture. And from our experience, we've realized that their marginalization or their exclusion from decision making has even affected their income, their livelihoods, and even their food issues. And so this is a report that has given us the real scenario, what is happening on the ground. And we are here to work with the community to help them understand that when we involve women, we involve youths, and we involve people with disability in issues of decision making, and we build them, we empower them economically, then we are going to have a food secure country, and we are going to have a nutrition secure country.
Moving on, President William Ruto on Friday unveiled the 5 billion Nyota Youth Startup Grant, a government program designed to empower young entrepreneurs and tackle unemployment across the country. The initiative targets 820,000 youth, with the first phase benefiting 101,500 from 1,450 wards nationwide. Each beneficiary will receive 50,000 to start or to grow a small business with funding support from the World Bank. The president said that the program is part of his administration's broader plan to promote self-employment and drive inclusive economic growth. Now, during the launch at State House, Nairobi, President William Ruto also announced the gazettement of new government appointments, including the registrar of political parties and several ambassadors.
This is coming as a result of us being deliberate about doing something about employment, empowerment, and engagement with young people.
We are targeting on improving youth employability, expanding employment opportunities, supporting youth savings, strengthening youth employment system, capacity and project management.
We have made a deliberate program, unlike before, to look out for opportunities for us to place young people in places where they can either get experience, they can get training, they can get on-job experience as we are talking.
We are enhancing youth entrepreneurs' access to market through digital, AGPO and EGP training, and then provision of e-commerce platform.
Moving on, rifts within the opposition alliance deepened today after Democratic Congress Party leader Rigathi Gachagua accused some politicians eyeing President William Ruto's seat of holding meetings in hotels and on social media instead of engaging directly with the voters. Gachagua, who led his team on a tour of Kajiado County, said that leaders must connect with ordinary citizens if they hope to win public trust and to build a strong political movement. Now, meanwhile, the former Interior Cabinet Secretary, Dr. Fred Matiang'i, who has declared his interest in the 2027 presidential race, held a separate rally in Nakuru County as political realignments within the opposition intensified.
Kasongo ni wapi? Kasongo? 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 Leo hii mukienda hapa kwa polling station mupate sura ya William Ruto na Rigathi Gachagua, mutapigia nani kura?
They must know that once we take over, tutafutilia mbali hayo makandarasi ya wizi ya mali ya umma.
Wamejaribu kuiba KICC, tumeenda kotini tumezuia. Wamejaribu kuiba KETRACO, hii moto ya Kenya, tumeenda kotini tumezuia.
Many people may want to spend a lot of time in hotels and boardrooms discussing theories. There is no president you'll make in a boardroom. Presidents are made in the field. Ati unafikiri ukiweka picha ya mtu ate kwa social media he can be president? Ati unaweka picha the sixth, that cannot make you president. You must go out there and mobilize numbers.
Shifting gears to the Deputy President, the Deputy President Kithure Kindiki has urged Kenyans, especially the youth, to take advantage of the ongoing continuous voter registration and enlist as voters. He said registering as a voter is the first step in ensuring the citizens have the power to shape the country's leadership and the future. Now, speaking during an economic empowerment tour in Murang'a and Kilifi counties, the Deputy President emphasized that young people must arm themselves with their voting rights to reject bad leaders at the ballot. Kindiki's economic empowerment forums turned into platforms for voter sensitization, with the Deputy President calling on all the youth to translate their numbers into political influence by participating actively in elections.
Kitambulisho na kura ndio ngao yako na ndio inakusaidia kama silaha ya kuchagua kiongozi ambao unamtaka na kuondoa mwenye hutaki. Vitambulisho ndio bunduki yako na kura ndio risasi yako ya kupigana na uongozi mbaya na kuhakikisha umechagua viongozi ambao wanajali maslahi yako. We must be corrected with facts, not through lies.
Tunachagua serikali ili ibadili maisha yetu. Mahali hatukuwa na soko, tupate soko. Mahali hatukuwa na barabara ya rami, tupate barabara ya rami.
Sasa wale ambao hamna vipande, hata ukiwa mama kutoka ng'ambo, kama umeolewa na Mkenya, wewe ni Mkenya. Uende uchukue kipande yako. Uende ujiandikishe kupiga kura, uweze kuchezea nafasi yako.
Serikali imefungua, ama watu ya IBC wamefungua, nyinyi Wateso mjiandikishe, Wakenya mjiandikishe.
Juzi tumeona president mstaafu Uhuru Kenyatta anadanganya Wakenya, yeye aliacha hii. Uhuru aliacha Kenya kama inateseka na bei ya vyakula ikiwa wapi?
Moving on, the government has unveiled a plan to distribute 1 million national identity cards to Kenyans within the next year. Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen made the announcement during his visit to the national registration offices in Nairobi, where new high-capacity machines capable of printing 16,000 ID cards daily were showcased. Murkomen said that more than 400,000 ID cards will be dispatched to chiefs across various regions in order to facilitate distribution and to clear the backlog of uncollected IDs. Now, he assured Kenyans that the exercise will be efficient and inclusive, reaching citizens even in remote areas. The Interior CS reaffirmed the government's commitment to transparency and accountability in public service delivery, adding that first-time applicants for national ID cards will continue to receive them free of charge.
Tutasajili watu zaidi ya milioni moja. Tunataka kwa rai haswa vijana ambao wamefikia miaka ya 18 kwamba sasa hii ni nafasi yenu, mpate vitambulisho vyenu ndio uweze kujiunga katika shughuli ya ujenzi wa taifa na kujishughulikia kimaisha. Ukipata Mkenya yoyote, ofisa yoyote, kama ni chifu, kama ni clerks wetu ambao wanaitisha pesa kwa wananchi, hiyo ni ufisadi na tutachukulia hatua ya kisheria na watafutwa kazi. Kama unataka ID mara ya kwanza, hakuna kulipishwa, lakini kama ulipoteza ID yako unafaa kulipa. We agreed with the chiefs that we will create a program where they will directly take the IDs to their villages and to their communities. And I want to ask Kenyans to please collect the IDs. We have 400,000 uncollected IDs.
Moving on, the ongoing lecturers' strike has entered its third week with no signs of normalcy returning, leaving university students stranded as learning remains paralyzed. The Ministry of Education insists that the government only owes lecturers 624 million Kenya shillings from the 2017-2021 collective bargaining agreement, saying that it has fulfilled most of its financial obligations. However, the lecturers dispute this figure, claiming that they are owed 7.9 billion Kenya shillings, accusing the government of failing to fully honor their agreement. Now, the standoff now threatens to disrupt academic calendar, with students fearing delays in examinations and possibly closure of universities if the impasse persists.
The SRC has advised the ministry that 7.2 billion of the amount claimed by the unions was already paid through the normal annual salary increments, leaving only a figure of 624 million as outstanding.
Why can't also they call the union technical team? We sit down with them, they show us how they arrived at 624. They don't want that meeting because they know they are wrong. You cannot claim that you are paid automatic annual increment and you don't have evidence to show. If University X is claiming that they paid this automatic annual increment amounting to 7.2 billion, we want evidence.
Because it is very clear from what was the judgment of the court, what was paid and what is the balance is very clear.
Moving on, a record 3.4 million students are set to sit for the national examinations this year, marking the highest number ever recorded in the country. The candidates include those in grade 6, grade 9 under the competency-based curriculum, that's the CBC, and Form 4 students preparing for their Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education. The examinations are scheduled to begin on the 17th of October and conclude on the 21st of November. The Kenya National Examination Council, NEC, has assured that all logistical arrangements have been finalized to ensure a smooth administration across all examination centers nationwide.
NEC has installed an additional 25 containers in various sub-counties that will help in terms of efficiency and reducing the costs in terms of the distance between the school and the containers. As examiners are marking the candidates' scripts, they don't have access to the name of the candidate, they don't even have access to the index number of the candidate, and therefore the bias is completely eliminated.
We will have, as in the past, no mercy on anyone who will be found engaging in any form of malpractice. All candidates, center managers, supervisors, invigilators must comply with examination regulations. Thus far, a total of 37,128 schools across junior, primary, senior school, and special needs education facilities have been verified. The total number of learners as of yesterday that these schools contain is 8,820,703.
And finally, hundreds of Kenyans living with HIV and other chronic illnesses held demonstrations in Nairobi demanding that their treatment should be covered under the Social Health Authority insurance scheme. The protesters, joined by various health advocacy groups, said that the high cost of medication has become unbearable. They argued that after the USA government cut the USAID program that previously provided free ARVs, many patients have been left struggling to access the essential drugs. The demonstrators called on the government to ensure that people living with HIV are not left behind in the rollout of the new National Health Insurance Program.
Trump came and said, from today on, we are going to cut. Luckily, we still have their ARVs. But other things that need to go with the ARVs are not there. And they be covered by SHA, under SHA, because we think that the more SHA is continuing to exclude people living with HIV, that is stigma and discrimination. And that is against the Kenyan Constitution.
Vulnerable PRHIV benefit from cash transfer schemes. For example, we now have hunger and starvation for PRHIV in Marsabit County. They should benefit from social protection scheme. We have come across data purporting to give the viral load status between March and August 2025, whereas during that time, there were no laboratory services.
We urgently ask that you provide documentation on the numbers of people living with HIV who need the minimum package of care for consideration to the Social Health Authority cover.
And with that, we wrap up our news. Thank you so much for staying tuned and for joining me. Remember to comment and leave your feedback on our Facebook platform, TikTok, Instagram, and on WhatsApp. You've been with me, Elvis Odhiambo, with my sign language interpreter doing the voicing, Tobias Omon. Don't go anywhere, because up next is Sports City with me and Bill Clinton. Stay tuned.